Welcome to the Guys Unpacked. This is Dre.
This is Rich. And tonight, we are getting ready to wrap it up for the year.
Yes, sir.
You know, we just got back, but of course, it is the end of the year, so this is going to be our last episode of the podcast. Till January, we'll be back with all new episodes.
Yeah, but don't forget, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, because we're on all podcast platforms. We're on all social media platforms. Guys Unpacked. Just make sure you follow and share and support us, please.
Absolutely. Now, what we got going on this weekend?
This weekend coming up.
So
we got Mojitos, which is...
Everybody, I know y'all been asking the fellas, so Dre, DJ Majestic, Gary G, Nemesis, got back together and decided, DMV, you know what? We're going to bring back the classic. The old pop-up Sunday joint that used to... Once a month used to have us driving home all crazy.
DUIs.
Used to be the worst Monday of the month, but
also the best
Sunday.
Sunday.
But the best Sunday.
Exactly. So we're bringing back Mojitos. Of course, it's not going to be in Bethesda where it used to be, but we're still trying to bring the vibe back. Just go to mojitospop-up.eventbrite.com. Get your tickets. It's going to be crazy.
And then for the rest of the month, you know, we got New Year's Eve coming up. So to start off, the Velvet Rope group is doing Velvet Rope Decadence Weekend. It's been 10 years of Velvet Rope. So what the Velvet Rope crew has gotten together and done, they're bringing the Velvet Rope Gala New Year's Eve night. 10 years of celebrating the ultimate New Year's Eve get-together. And then that Sunday, January 2nd, is going to be the Mimosa Classic. That is a brunch-inclusive champagne mimosa day party, complete vibe. So go to thevelvetropegroup.com, log on, get your tickets to either one, get your tickets to both, get your outfits come through. And then
there's something in between those two dates though.
And in between those two, Sekou Flex is bringing you Royalty, the all-inclusive brunch gala. So organize yourself, log on to SekouFlex.com. So basically, New Year's Eve weekend, the whole, because when New Year's on a Saturday.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's going to be foolishness. Velvet Rope, then Royalty, then the Mimosa Classic. So you're in a gear from Friday to Sunday. And then Monday, please get some sleep because you're going to need it.
Well, the beauty is Saturday and Sunday are both day parties.
Yeah.
So you have all of the evening to recover.
Yep.
So you got Saturday evening and Sunday evening to recover for Monday. So
absolutely.
It's gonna be a scene.
All right, Dre. So let's get it started. First things first. That French actor, that the old Frenchie that got caught up.
Who's that?
Jussie Smollett.
Oh, Smollett.
Yeah, he So his verdict came in. I was surprised.
At what exactly?
I was surprised that they actually found him guilty.
Really?
Just because it was such a... It's like you knew what he did, right? Like you knew he was lying. Everyone did.
Like every part of the story.
Right. I just didn't think a jury was really going to be like, let's give him some jail time. That was just my thought.
He black, dog.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
And he definitely went against, like, the whole thing was so stupid.
Dog, like,
yeah. And then the worst part of it was, like, I think, like, the only reason they even went back after him was because if you remember when they dropped the charges the first time, the first thing he did was held a press conference saying...
I can't remember. I wasn't really paying much attention to this shit.
After they dropped the charges, right? And they even said, like, he paid fines or whatever to get the charges dropped. And then the first thing he did was hold a press conference saying, I told y'all...
he doubled down.
Right. Like, rather than, you got this little W...
Going to be out.
Right. He was like, nope, I told y'all it wasn't true. I wasn't lying, blah, blah, blah. And then... So you're trying to make them look bad, like they were the ones who...
Maybe it's a mental health thing, man.
It could absolutely be a mental health thing. I mean, I don't even know why he did it in the first place, but like...
Attention, I'm sure. But aside from that, like, it's gotta be a mental health piece when you're lying.
Mm.
You literally get
away with it.
You get away with it, but not like away to the point where like people don't know. We all know that you know.
But you got away.
We're giving you a pass. Like, just, you know what? No, I'm going to double down because if maybe if I say this out loud again on a different platform, people will they'll believe that no, there's no way he's lying if he.
I think I said this before. It's like, OJ, if I did it, here's how I would have done it. Like, bruh, you got away with it.
Just leave it alone.
We all know you did.
Just leave it alone.
Let it go.
Right.
So, what else happened? Coach Prime. Exactly what we was talking about last week's episode.
We predicted this, bro.
It's begun. The revolution has begun. For those of you who don't know, so we just got the news today that Travis Hunter, one of the top prospects,
a number two
prospect, decommitted from
FSU
and decided to go to Jackson State.
Yo, that's so huge,
bruh.
That is so huge.
And so it's what we talked about last time with the influence of having a name attached to your program like Deion Sanders,
right?
To be able to pull and because as we all know, college football is mainly recruiting.
Sure.
It's 90% recruiting.
Sure.
You're not getting athletes in there for 10, 15 years. You're having a 2-3 year career, maybe 4 if they stay the whole time.
Right.
So the goal is always to try to be able to pull in top prospects.
Right.
So if this is even a small sign of the way things are going to be or the way things can be moving forward.
Yes.
And more of these student athletes can look at this as a sign to say, you know what? I can commit to an HBCU, and that doesn't have to hold me back from being that pipeline to the pros.
Yeah.
I think it's a big step in the right direction.
So there are two pieces of this though that I want to point out. So one, we have to see how this actually plays out once he gets to Jackson State, right? Because unlike basketball, for instance, football is a much more intense sport, and you cannot just shine just because, right? So in basketball, I mean, if you are Steph Curry, for instance, right, dropping threes from any and everywhere, which we'll talk about, you can do that anywhere, and coaches all around the NBA will be like,
right,
he has this raw talent, cool. It's a lot harder to shine like that in football unless you're specific positions. So there's that piece. The other piece is, I mean, the elephant in the room, FSU has actually been playing really poorly for the way that they usually play. So I'm not gonna take it away from Deion because I still appreciate him pulling him from that
absolutely.
kind of program.
Right.
But it's also it would have almost felt better taking him from an Ohio State.
Yeah.
Or or another big school that's dominant. You know what I mean?
Right. I think we're not there yet.
Right. No, for sure.
Because like you said, if someone gets into a program that's a direct pipeline to the NFL,
right,
then it's going to be very difficult for them to say, you know what, let me shift gears and let me go somewhere where my name is going to help the program more than the other way around.
Sure.
But like you said, it is a step in the right direction. And even with the basketball piece, I agree with you because with basketball, there's so much that you as an individual player can influence in the swing of a game versus football. You could be the best receiver, the best route. If your quarterback is trash.
Or don't throw to you.
Or don't throw to you. Or the line is trash, so he doesn't even get a chance to get the ball off.
Right.
You know, it's like people may not they literally have to be second and third level analysts to be able to look at you and still say, yeah, he's got all the intangibles and the tangibles.
Exactly.
Even though he hasn't caught a pass all season.
They got to go hire Brad Pitt and Noah Hill from Moneyball.
Exactly. It's got to be complete mathematical equations they're using to determine. So, but still a good look overall. And on the topic of old Steph.
Bruh.
Congrats.
That's a huge congrats.
It took him, for those of you who don't know, Steph Curry is now the all-time three-point, he has the most three-pointers, all-time leading.
Right.
Just broke Ray Allen's record.
In the least amount of games.
By far. Almost half as many games as it took Ray Allen.
Right. I think there are two things, and we've kind of talked about this off camera before. So one of the things being that they just shoot the three a lot more now than they did back then.
Absolutely.
But I also don't know if they were shooting three the way they shoot now back then if Ray Allen and Reggie Miller would have had the same number from a field goal percentage standpoint as Steph, because Steph is just he's a mutant when it comes to shooting that three.
Absolutely.
Like, I used to be truly impressed by Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, but like they just don't hit it like how Steph hit it.
Right. Pause.
I mean, it's not hitting me. So I'm not hitting you either. So that's what I should have talked about, right? But
So you said, I was like, whoa, where we going?
But yeah, but I mean, but it's still amazing to see that, and I mean, it happened in New York, which is also dope because you already know Spike Lee is like the biggest Knicks fan, but like he was like literally a stan. He was behind them taking pictures. Like it was so dope to just see like the camaraderie.
And well, you know what it is. I agree with you, right? When we talk about like the way the game is played now, I remember watching a breakdown, guys on a fast break. And they were showing, I guess because the analytics are telling them, of course, 3 is more than 2.
Right.
And because more of them are practicing the 3 now, they're getting more green lights
correct.
to just pull up. And they were doing some breakdowns of a game where, like, they're on a fast break, and rather than attack the basket,
they're like, no.
they branched out to pull up for the 3.
Right.
And you're just seeing, like, games where Steph is pulling from wherever.
Yeah.
Now, Steph has absolutely changed the way you look at like the 3-point shot because like one his range is crazy.
Sure.
That's to start with. And you know, Steve Kerr, even from Mark Jackson's time, they gave him the green light.
Right.
You can shoot from wherever. Stuff that you would have gotten benched for back in the 90s, back when Ray Allen and Reggie Miller were playing, like you pull some of them shots and they're talking to you on the sidelines like, yo,
comes down.
Right. Like now Steph just comes down and pulls them.
Right.
So I don't know that it would have mattered when Steph played because I think he's just so good. Because Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, great guys, great catch and shoot. Reggie Miller coming off screens was money. Steph is creating his own shots.
Right.
Steph's handle is ridiculous.
Right. Because I mean, is he a point guard or shooting guard? Or a combination of the two.
Yeah, I think he's considered a point guard.
Right.
Right.
To your point, he creates his own shots.
He's creating his own shots most of the time.
And it like also to your point, like it is actually broken down defenses because from now, like before it was all right, if we stay in the paint, we'll force them to take the 3. Now it's like, well, they can take the 3. So we got to go out, but then opens up the
we got to spread the floor more. So now you're opening the floor for everyone else,
right?
So you literally have to pay attention from him,
right?
Once he crosses half court,
and then you add in like not now, but like when he was really in his prime, when he started hitting them threes for real.
Yeah,
he had Klay Thompson as well, who could also hit a 3.
And honestly, sometimes Klay gets hotter than Steph. Bro, like when Klay is on,
dog, when both of them were on at the same time, it was like, all right, they're about to go on a run. Like
it was a problem.
Let's just try to minimize the threes. Right.
Yeah. Shout out to Steph. But back to the whole Garden thing. Like I remember, I listened to it today. I saw a couple memes, and all of it is actually true. I think even Mo shared one where like everybody breaks records or does something special in the Garden.
Okay.
Except for the Knicks.
I mean,
like they're just the team that's there. Like the Garden is
the host.
Everyone talks about how the Garden is the mecca of basketball.
That's a good point.
And it's like,
I mean, there was also an era where the Knicks were popping though.
I'm not saying no. But it's like it's still referred to as that.
Right.
But it is now just like this hallowed ground where like LeBron has his best games and Jordan had his best games and
facts.
Everyone else comes to the Garden to either do something special, break records. Everyone brings their A game.
Right.
And the Knicks are not that good right now to where like
at all.
Where you need to bring your A game to beat the Knicks.
The irony is when Steph was getting drafted, so I was watching Up in Smoke podcast.
Okay.
When Steph was actually getting drafted, he was hoping to play for the Knicks.
I can see that.
And like they got a random call from the GM of Golden State. It was like, yeah, so we're picking you up. So originally I think the Knicks they had the number 8 pick.
Okay.
And I think Golden State had number 7 that year or whatever, and like picked him up. So the irony there is like he wanted to be there anyway, so he was there.
That's where he broke the record. I don't think this one's gonna fall anytime soon.
Well, it's not, because we're not even anywhere near the end of the season.
And we're not even near. We're definitely not near the end of his career.
Right.
So when you think about it, like, this is one of those records that even though the game has changed and people are shooting more and they're shooting from further out and all this other stuff, I just think at the point that he's at right now, and he's obviously going to keep shooting threes.
Yep.
I think this record is going to stand for a minute.
So the only thing I'll say is it may not stand for as long as we think, only because since the game is changing, and because he's been very instrumental in changing this game, kids are also trying to play differently now, and kids are going to be pulling up on threes way more. So, like, I think that there are going to be a whole bunch of maybe not in the next 3-4 years, but within the next 10 years, you're going to have some, like, a cohort of players who literally are like, all right, I don't care about dunking anymore. Because I remember when we were growing up, it was all you wanted to do was be able to dunk.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't have to be tall. As long as I can have handles, I can pull up and take a shot, and I can drop it from anywhere, bro.
I think what's going to end up happening, at least what I hope for, is because everything is a cycle, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to have the cycle where the three ball is it, but then you're going to have the guys like the Giannis in the midst of it.
Who like dominate the paint.
Right. And then at some point, they're going to have to be like, well, we can't just ignore this because this dude, because he just won the championship.
He just won the championship, right?
So we can't just ignore the fact that a dominant big, because like even like when you look at LeBron, LeBron has moved back his shot a lot more.
Sure.
But at his best, LeBron was a dominant paint player.
Sure.
Like, so
that's age though.
Yeah, it is age. It's absolutely age.
Right.
But then that's my point. The next young guy comes in, the next 6'7", the next Zion.
Sure.
The next, if he would ever lose some weight, the next just dominant big comes in, and just like the next Shaq comes in.
Right.
Can't shoot for nothing, but you can't stop me in here. So it would be. I'm just saying, I don't want the game to move in one direction and stay that way for too long. It would be cool that it moves there.
It can.
Right. And then at some point swings back, gives a little balance. That would be cool. So. Congrats to Steph, and some more congratulations in order.
Yep.
Congratulations to Megan Thee Stallion.
You know, and I never really understood the Stallion part until I paid more attention to her recently. I totally get it, bro.
Do you?
Bro, she is how do I politically correctly say this? I'm not going to. She's like an Amazonian woman, dog.
Yeah. But you know, Stallion's a male horse, right?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
As long as we're all on the same page. I mean, because it sounds cool.
But the average person doesn't know that a fucking stallion is a male horse.
It sounds good, but a stallion is a male horse.
I'm well aware.
So, all right.
But yeah, she's
built. She's built properly, dog.
Bruh. Which is actually way funny, and I'm not gonna get into this, but like the difference in size between her and like Tory Lanez is like
he's diminutive.
Oh my gosh, he's a little person.
Honestly, dog, a lot of these celebrities are so tiny in real life.
Yes,
and then the flip side becomes the guys who you don't realize how tall they are
until you see them in person.
Yeah.
So. Another congrats though, Kim K.
Shout out to Kim K. You know what? And I will say this. I have been a critic of, not of Kim specifically, but a critic of Kim's fame, because I've always felt like she had no actual talent.
I would say she has no contribution, because we don't know if she has a talent or not.
Well, so here's my point. She was not famous based on a talent. So if she did, it was not what made her famous, right?
Sure.
And it highlighted this era that we lived in where, like, you just needed to be
pretty
to get the exposure to then make you famous.
Right.
So, and then
if you got to dig down, too, on camera.
I was just about to say, like, having a sex tape definitely didn't hurt, right? So
the opposite. It helped.
So,
which is wild, in my opinion.
But agreed. So, and then there was a point where I felt like every so often when you didn't see her in the public too much, she would do, like, she did the magazine shoot.
Right.
Or then she did, like, some Instagram. But, like, she would do something where it's like, hey, look at me again.
Yeah,
you know?
It's one of those things where, and it's unfortunate because, I mean, we don't know her.
No.
And we don't know why she does these things, but I can say that there are a lot of women who do these things solely because they know they're going to get the clicks.
Right. No, absolutely.
Like, even if they don't particularly want to do these things, they're like, I want to be known for this, but like, I get the attention for this.
And then sometimes,
even though that's sexualizing me, I'm going to do that.
And honestly, sometimes once that fame becomes addictive,
oh, of course,
you don't want to lose it.
Oh, you can't.
And then
because you're irrelevant at that point in time.
And then honestly, even though like she came into the industry with money, she has made
a ton of money
her own since then. And so people, we give
her mom.
Right. So we give credit where it's due, right?
Right.
But I will say this though, again, back to the other point, she passed the baby bar.
Yep.
And so I do appreciate the things that I've seen that she's been doing just from a social justice standpoint.
Sure.
The efforts that she's making on prison reform and now this. So congrats to her. Congrats to her, taking where she was, like our girl Cardi, right? Like from her humble beginnings to where her glow up was impressive. And
she's still glowing.
Yeah.
Like, her third song just hit diamond.
Okay.
And she's tied for that spot. So there are only 2 women who've ever had 3 diamond singles.
Okay.
Only other person is Katy Perry. And I'm pretty sure Cardi B is going to have another one. Like, that's just, like, based off her trajectory, she's going to have at least one more because she's still young in her career.
Yeah.
But going back to Kim K and even Megan Thee Stallion, I think one of the things that's pretty dope is the fact that, like, they don't have to do these things, right? Yeah. Like, they already have what most people would say is a successful life.
Yeah.
Like, Megan is a flourishing artist, right? Like, whether you like her music or not, she's a flourishing artist.
Right.
Doesn't have to go to school, but decided that she was going to do it, which I thought is dope. Kim K also doesn't need any. She's probably going to make less money, and I don't want to say less impact because hopefully she has a bigger impact because of this. But like, she's definitely going to make less money going this route. But she has her stuff set up that she still.
It's not even about making less.
Right.
It's like there is no profit in this for her.
Which I think is the bigger piece, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's this idea that we've become so capital centered, right? That like our youth also don't see value in academia. Oh. So if you see somebody like Kim K and somebody like Megan Thee Stallion who doesn't need a degree, but decides to do it anyway because they want to uplift themselves educationally.
Right.
I mean, hopefully, even if it's just a handful of kids that see that and say, "Oh, okay, well, I want to do that too."
Yeah.
Like that's a plus to me.
And honestly, even for Kim K's part of it, like what route she chooses to go in like the field of law would have an impact beyond just her own personal achievement. Like if she decides to stick with the social justice, prison reform side of things, that's the route she wants to take, then she's actually going to be using her celebrity and her education now to
marrying those together,
help and uplift people. So I completely applaud her for even wanting to go that route, which, like you said, she didn't have to. Like there's a lot of people who have gotten the fame, the success, the money, the power, whatever, and I don't knock them for it, but because not everyone has that mindset of turning around and helping and uplifting the next person, and you don't have to.
Right.
But it's good to see it when someone is like, okay, I've made it. She doesn't have to work anymore.
Right.
She doesn't even have to keep doing the stuff she is doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
She's all the way good.
Entire family set.
Right.
Like the entire family. That whole, it's like an enterprise at this point.
Right. And you see someone like, say, like a Jay-Z who still continues to make deals, but those deals are all for a profit.
Sure.
And I'm not even taking away because Jay-Z does a lot of outreach stuff too. So I'm not saying he doesn't.
I'm with you.
My point is that this stuff that she's doing, there's no profit in it for her.
Right.
No profit. Like, she may get to help people and there may be like good press and publicity, but I don't think she's that shallow to think that's what she's doing it for. Right. I just don't see it.
I actually think it goes back to one of your earlier points. I think that she knows, she's completely aware of the fact that her celebrity stems from something that she did not contribute to the world. And I'm pretty sure that helped drive her to be like, I got to prove to y'all. Because, I mean, everybody's done it. I know you've done it. I've definitely done it. Like,
I haven't done a sex tape.
No, you're so stupid. made jokes about Kim K, right? Like exactly, right? So it's like a lot of us out here.
I did one earlier in this segment.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of us made these jokes. So on some level, I know that affects her. And I know that she wants to be able to show, like, hey, I'm more than just a sex tape.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right. I can see that. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. You know what I mean? So...
And we could all fuck, just not on tape.
I mean, we can. It just won't make us famous.
Right. Last thing I'll say about her, though, is... And it's dope that she finished the baby bar. She passed the baby bar.
Yeah.
Because I think that's awesome. We need her to pass, like, the actual bar, though. Yeah. And it's not to downplay the baby bar, but I was actually following a lawyer friend of mine on IG, and she hit like this very, very nice balance of congratulating her, but also being like, but I don't want y'all to lose sight of the fact that like that California bar is a monster. Mm-hmm. So dope that she got that little
right. There's some
work to be done still.
Then that's fair, and that's life anyway.
Yeah.
Like no matter what plateau or milestone you hit, like all right, cool, we're here now. Right. Celebrate it, but now remember
you hit something one.
Right.
Now you got to hit the next one.
Now there's some more to be done. But,
right.
So staying on the topic of Kim.
Okay.
Good old Northwest.
I always chuckle like that name.
Huh?
So I always chuckle like that name.
I mean, it's still funny, dog.
It's
but
such a dumb name. I'm sorry. Like,
no,
I and not to go too far on a segue, but it's so ridiculous when these celebrities name their children like these weird names, like Apple and North, and it's like, okay, that's dope, sure, because it's cool at this time, but like your child literally has to have this name for the rest of their life. And
here's my thoughts on that, right?
Okay.
When I think about it, I know a lot of very regular people.
Okay.
With very unique names.
There's a difference between unique, because unique is to me when I hear unique.
When
give me an example of a unique name.
I don't want to do this because a bunch of them popped in my head. So let's just say
a unique name.
There are people with names that. Okay, I'll do somebody who's just like look at new running back for the Patriots, right?
Okay.
Ramondre Stevenson. Now, when it's said in football context, no one ever thinks about it because he's running for 100 yards, like he's doing his thing. But think about it, his name is Ramondre.
I don't think that's unique at all.
Right.
It is my name with the Ram at the front of it.
Right. It was like, so what are we saying? Like, was his uncle named Raymond and his other uncle named Andre? And because I knew a girl who did that. Like her kid's name was a combination of.
I align Ramondre with North or with
absolutely
or with right. So like what I'm saying is, and this is way deeper than celebrities, but like. When naming children, and I'm not saying that they have to be Anglo-Saxon names either, right?
No, not at all.
But like, just remember that your child is going to have to deal with this name for the rest of their life.
Because you're not even naming them cultural names.
Right.
You're not even going through names from. Because I would even say if you were going through names that had a meaning or a significance to it,
something.
But y'all are just throwing words together and saying, "Yep, rest of your life." Own
and
that.
Then what makes it worse is. So Northwest, if you say her full name, she's a part of a compass. Like,
but now here's the difference with like a Northwest, right?
Okay.
Or like her counterpart in the game, a Blue Ivy, right? Because we can't even.
I'll give Blue Ivy a pass over Northwest.
I won't. It's the same.
They're both bad, but right, yeah.
And don't get it twisted for what this is not anything about these kids.
Of course not. We're just talking about the names.
Like. Cool kid, both adorable.
Actually, amazing kids, yeah.
And actually, they're like Blue. I think has a Grammy now. So,
bruh, like not only that, like didn't she have like a collab with Adidas too?
Yeah, I think she does.
Bruh,
so we're not knocking the kids.
Amazing children.
But now let's get back to like the name because I think one of them, was it Gwyneth or someone named their kid Apple?
Was Apple? Yes, Gwyneth Paltrow was Apple.
Right. Now, these kids are probably not going to be filling out a lot of job applications, right?
Kids are also probably not going to school.
Right. They're probably not.
They're probably getting homeschooled.
They're not, or if they're going to school, they're not going to the type of schools
that we went to. Because there's no way.
You know, so I'm like, which is why when the celebrities do it, didn't Elon Musk name his kid something?
I don't know.
Dog, when you get a chance, look it up. I think his kid is named like some sort of symbol. Look up Elon Musk's kid's name, dog. It's something crazy. You don't gotta look it up right now, but when you'll text me later, be like, dog, what the heck? So But that's my point, right? Like when you believe that your child is not going to go through a rough childhood, and they're probably not going to go through a rough childhood like we would what we would call a rough childhood.
Sure.
You as a parent decide to get a little bit creative in the naming process. I'm not saying I think it's stupid as hell, but I'm also not a billionaire, right?
Right. At the end of the day, like
I can't.
Aside from being a billionaire, at the end of the day, like it's your child.
No, it's absolutely
but
you know, but here's the other problem with that, right? It's your child,
right?
But it's a human being, right?
Until your child is their own person,
right? Like so, they at some point they got to look back and be like, "Nigga, my name is North. Like, what the fuck was you? You know, they're like."
I wonder how many of these kids though, when they when they hit a legal age, go back and say, "Yo, I don't want this name," or just go by a completely different name.
I mean, I know people our age, like who aren't rich, who don't go by their first name because it's something crazy. So they decided, but no, like because it's something they don't like.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not even that it's crazy.
The difference with them though is they're not billionaires either. So like,
right. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So you're talking about like when these kids get older and they're just like, yeah, I don't want to go by this. The problem becomes like you're already famous by that name. So like, let's say her middle name was like Christine, right? Like, you can't go by Christine West when you're 20. Like, no, you're North. Like, we've known you since you were born. We followed you you are Northwest.
Literally from your birth.
Right. Now, when you get married, the question is, are you going to be able to change that last name? Because can you be North Francis? You know what I'm saying? Is that just it just no longer has that same effect.
No ring to it.
Right, zero.
Christine Francis would sound a lot nicer, though.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
she got to change her name anyway. She's like, you know what? I'm going to go by my middle name. You know,
we're just going to make this whole thing change. So,
but anyway, Northwest. Yeah, we're on a crazy tangent.
But the funny thing, so back to her, she did a live video running around the house.
You mean their palace? Because I was like, God damn.
And then runs into like Kim's bedroom. As I came on, I'm live, and Kim's like, no, stop. Like, and the crazy part of it to me was, one, kids are even thinking, yo, let me jump on live right now. Like, the social media culture has infiltrated every aspect of our lives, so where now even like a kid is thinking, and you heard them like, go ahead and click yes if you want me to do this or whatever. Like, they're like really interacting.
Yeah,
and getting a bunch of
views.
They're
looking for validation, which like that's the scary part for me.
That is the scary part. The other scary part is, and I've had this happen like in my personal life, where like she ran in live in her mom's room.
Oh,
in the middle, like you don't know what, like, cause
you don't know what mommy's doing.
You don't know what was going on in that room when she ran in there.
Right,
it just happened that she was just chilling.
Oh,
but that could have been anything happening in that bed, and it was 100% live, so it would have been
ain't nothing we can do about this.
Nothing that could have been done about this. So
yeah.
Then you add the safety piece to it, like so. I'm not necessarily this paranoid because I'm sure they have security and all this other stuff is top notch. But like, you are giving people like a unfiltered view of your home now. Mm-hmm. You know, like this child is now running around your house,
right?
Basically,
and didn't they actually have like wasn't a home invasion, but when they were in Paris at some point in time, like years ago,
someone like robbed them or stole their stuff while they were right. So I forgot all about that. So you see what I'm saying? It's like now you have you're giving just not even America, even the world, whoever is following you, this kind of unfiltered access to your home.
Right.
And it's not like the type of like MTV Cribs access where there's cameras and editing later.
And it's like under a controlled environment.
It's just a completely unfiltered. So
I love that her cousin. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what's his name. Whatever Disick, whatever. Yeah. But it's the sister's son.
Right.
Reaches out to Kim directly. And it's like, hey, so maybe you guys should have a conversation about posting these things online. And then even went as far as to say, like, I've gone through this already, and I know, looking back, like how I made a mistake or whatever. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that like a kid was able to reach out.
Well, I don't think Mason is his name. I just had to look it up. I don't think he's a kid anymore.
He's still enough of a kid. Because think about it. Mason is... Because that's Courtney's son, right? With Scott Disick.
Uh-huh.
He can't be more than what, like 18?
Right. I mean,
we're in an age now where 18-year-olds are doing really stupid things on social media still.
Absolutely. But we're also at an age where 18-year-olds have a lot of insight onto some of the stuff they did because they
fair enough.
Catching some of the, like, exact to his point, like he was like, look, I went through this, you know, when I was busy just posting and sharing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be. So
fair enough.
I think it was a good little balance of, he's a child to us,
right, but
still old enough to understand the kind of
the sleepover soon sounded like he was younger though, but like to your point, you're right. Like this has been some time, so he's got to be somewhere around that.
It was like 2020 or something like that when I think I was reading it, not 2020, like
2000 and like maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, so it was a while when he did what. So now. But like you said, it is cool. I like that Kim even said, well, you know what, maybe you should talk to her because
that was dope, right?
You know what? It's like I'm mom. I can tell her she may listen, she may not listen, but
right over her head.
But you coming from like that middle ground.
It's gonna go northeast. Sorry, I couldn't.
So there was the segue.
There was a segue.
So while we're on the Kardashians, Kanye gonna be all right, bro?
So
Kanye Kardashian,
right? Okay. KK. So Kanye. I mean, I don't really have much to say about this other than this, right? Kanye clearly has his things that he has to deal with, his mental health issues that he has to deal with. He is, or he has. Let me say this: he has some ideas and thoughts that like you maybe or may not be able to align with, like semblance of genius in certain spaces.
No, he does not. But go ahead.
Just follow me.
Okay.
Follow me. Just trying to frame it, right?
Okay.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day,
because I hate using that word associated with him because he's not a genius,
and that's why I didn't say he is a genius.
Okay.
I'm very, very intentional about what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
But that said, like when you do all these things over here that sometimes make no sense, and then you do a couple things over here that are amazing, like I align that very much with a broken clock is still right twice a day. So
yeah,
like,
But that's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like right now, the only thing that I've seen recently that is of any count has to do with his relationship with Kim, or the lack thereof at this point in time, because they're done. And she actually said, I think a couple days ago, not even any kind of therapy would reconcile us or something like that.
It sounds like she's had it.
Well, she's done. Yeah. She's done.
Like, I mean, for now, because
yes, I got you. But that said, I want to say it was like maybe a month ago or less. He had gone on this rant, and he had me at one point, and then he went completely off the rails when he was like, pretty much that he wants to be a symbol. He wants his marriage with Kim to be a symbol of like the sanctity of marriage, and more or less like this is where he lost me. He was like, if she and I can't make it, then that's like somewhat almost of a representation of like why other people might not be able to. And I'm butchering it. That's not what he said. Yeah. But I was just like, bruh, nah, dog. Like you are not going to be the North Star.
Right. Nobody's looking
of anybody's fucking marriage. Right. But what I will say though is, so he had his concert on Amazon Prime. I think it was on Thursday or Friday of last week.
Oh, the first one where Jay Prince made him do a concert?
Whatever.
Jay Prince made him do that concert. He did. Like hostage situation.
Well, Drake was there too, so he made both.
Yeah, he made both. Oh no,
he muscled both of them. He
not
was
one
like,
or the other.
He was like, "Yo, and y'all gonna stand on stage together."
Let me tell you something. I've seen some gangster shit in the industry, right?
I mean, that's the most gangster shit, period. Because he didn't use no real muscle. He just stood there.
I mean, whatever muscle he used, it was definitely off camera. Because he made this man stand there and read a ransom note.
Not even a teleprompter. Off the phone.
Off his phone. Like, I am not being held against my will at all. I am doing this of my own free volition.
It's
me
like, bruh,
and Drake. Right.
Blink twice if
like,
you're in danger.
Kanye, let me know, bro. Like, I don't know if I could do anything, but dog, give a signal.
Something.
Drop the phone, blink.
Right.
Like, it was low-key uncomfortable to watch, but still hilarious.
It was hilarious.
And then it was the ultimate flex. Because he stood there next to it, and he did not have to be on camera.
And he didn't say shit.
He didn't have to. He just to let everyone know
I'm the reason why this is happening.
I'm making this happen, and like low key to let Drake know, no, you better comply. And then them niggas did a concert together.
Concert. And in the concert, he sings a song, and he's like, he wants Kim to come home. So the only thing I'll say is, you strip away all the nonsense that he says on a normal basis, all of the things that are just wild as hell that we just don't really rock with. And I actually commend him, not for the way that he's doing it, but for trying to fight for his marriage still.
Okay.
Ultimately. Because that's the way I look. Because for me, I look at marriage also as one of those things where, like, I'm only doing it once. So, as if I get married, like, I take the vows pretty seriously. When you say, like, till death do us part, nigga, one of us is going to die for this to be over. Like, it ain't gonna be no, we have a disagreement. And I'm not saying
segue into
no. So, and this is what I was gonna throw the caveat. I'm not saying we have to be in marital bliss. I'm not even saying that we have to be like in the same room. But I look at marriage very much from the, if we decided this is what we're doing, we're really vowing to be together for better or for worse.
Right.
So on one hand, I rock with him for like fighting for it. On the other hand, I'm like, clearly that's not what she wants. So like, you have to figure out a way to fight for her in the way that she wants to be fought for, because yeah, because Pete got her right now.
And beyond that, like, you almost look as though you are fighting for her as a matter of your own ego.
Oh, for sure.
Versus
he's one of the biggest narcissists in the fucking world. So
he's definitely, if he's not the biggest. Oh yeah, I'll give.
I was about to say, because he was supporting.
Yeah, the biggest. Right. Fair. Right. So, yeah, like, the way you're doing this.
Right.
It's like you're
not making it about her.
It's about you. About you,
right.
Your ego,
right.
What you want to happen again for you.
Correct.
And you're not accepting. And I get you. I'm all for, listen, fight to make this work, right? If we can fix this, let's fix this.
Right.
Let's put this back together. And I don't know what conversations he's trying to have with her in private.
Sure.
And I'm not a celebrity. Yeah. So not yet. So no, so look, I don't get it where, like, hey, you're not gonna see me if I am not able to reach my significant other in private, that I suddenly take to the public airwaves to get their attention. Like, I'm not doing that, because now I'm embarrassing you.
Right.
More than anything, in my opinion.
No, I'm 100% with you. Yeah. But I think, like, to take it a step back, though, it's still about knowing your partner. Because even if, just say for shits and giggles, like, that's not what your partner particularly wants. Mm-hmm. If you know that that's not going to also push your partner away, it's really just going to annoy them, you can still get away with it, right? So, case in point, Offset and Cardi B, they went through their shit. They did. Right? And he legit, I remember when he actually, like, stormed her stage while she's performing.
Right, like on some crazy, like a crazy man. Like,
he was more or less like, yo, I want my wife back, and was going to do whatever
and it worked. Not even low key.
So it didn't work right away, though.
It didn't work right away.
But it did work.
Eventually.
Yes.
Right.
And my guess is that Double K saw that and was like, all right, I'm going to put that in my arsenal.
Just in case
I need
I'm going to do, if I need to pull.
But he fucked up because Kim wasn't performing nowhere. If anything, what he should have done is he should have hopped out on SNL. And, I mean, granted, he shouldn't have, but he should have done something. That would have been wild.
I'm gonna let y'all finish, but right. Like, I'm gonna let y'all finish, but Kim Kardashian is the greatest wife in the world. Like, do a straight Taylor Swift.
But he could do that though. He'd be like, "But I'm the best husband in the world. You can't leave me."
Right. And Pete Davidson doesn't care about black people. Like, just throw that one.
And the irony is, Pete would have been on the show. So,
doesn't just throw that in there. Throw all his Kanye classics in there.
Everything.
Nah, son. But I'm not the biggest Kanye fan at all.
Me neither. And I'm a marriage fan though. So I do hope that they figure their shit out ultimately.
I hope that they figure I hope they figure it out in a way that works for them. Meaning,
and that's exactly what I mean.
Because figuring it out doesn't always mean
together. Oh no, I'm
Right.
100% with you. 100%
The
with you.
problem is I don't think Kanye understands that what may be best for them. I don't know this. Might not be getting back to
right? Yeah.
Right, because again, when you are the person, when you are the narcissist and your ego is all that matters to you, then you think that no, what's best is this.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, you're not listening to the other person.
Sure.
You're not actually accepting what the other person's saying.
I've been guilty of it.
Not realizing that, you know what?
I can't even lie. I've been guilty of it.
I want to be back with you, but
Right.
I don't know that that's what's best for us. So we'll see how this plays out. We got another on the topic of relationships. More or less. Not even relationships.
Less light.
No. Not even on relationships, right?
Okay.
So there was a video like circulating from a wedding.
Oh, this is actually very light. So, right.
And I don't know, and anybody who is interested can chime in what y'all think in the comments. So there was a video circulating from a wedding where the bride was...
And her bridesmaids.
Well, it started with the bride and her bridesmaid. Yeah. They gave the groom a very provocative, gave him a little lap dance.
Man.
She was twerking. They had a dance routine choreographed with the bridesmaids. And she was in a little skimpy something for the reception. I'm pretty sure she didn't get married in this.
We hope not.
We hope not. But like the cheeks was out, and
all
they
out.
was for the reception.
Sun's out, buns out.
And they got a lot of flack on Twitter because people was like, yo, is that the bride? And one person commented, this marriage isn't gonna last. And I just like, so I'm watching this, right? And while I can say I don't want this for me.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But I'm also going to marry a person, knock on wood.
For me.
Right. So I can't knock them. When people are talking about this marriage isn't going to last, I'm like, why not? Like,
well, because everybody's got a fucking opinion. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everyone's got an opinion, and a lot of us have this issue with looking at everything through our lens.
Right.
And it's like, and yes, that is the default, but it's like, hey, to your point, if this ain't about me, and to your bigger point, when I watched the video and I saw what she was wearing, it automatically pulled me back, and I was like, oh, this is not a regular wedding. Like, it just isn't. So even the twerking, I was like, just like you, I was like, not for me. But it didn't even surprise me because I was like, look at what she wearing.
But here's the thing, right? I'm not even going to the point of saying it wasn't a regular wedding. It's what they wanted. So when they planned it...
So traditional, let me put it that way.
Right.
Traditional.
Right. So when they planned... But dog, what's traditional? Because I remember watching International Steven's wedding and his reception. Okay. And that was a full-blown fete.
Okay. Like, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. Like, I saw the clips on Instagram and stuff.
Okay.
And it was a full-blown,
dope.
Flags in the air, the whole nine. I've seen that too, and that's not considered traditional.
Probably not.
But it's fun for them. So if you and your spouse, this is what you like. Let's say, I don't know this woman, right?
Sure.
Maybe she was a stripper. I'm not saying she wasn't. I'm not casting any.
I think that's the assumption most people make.
Right. But if that is what and that's where he met her.
He knows who he's marrying.
And if she decided, I want to do this for the wedding, and he's like, dog, that would be dope. Even if he didn't.
I doubt very seriously. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I doubt very seriously that if in fact she is a stripper, right, and she decided she was gonna do this, that he was like, no, you can't do this shit. Like, I find it like that. If you are marrying or even in a relationship,
and I'm only assuming that I'm
all these assumptions.
I'm not even assuming that she was. I'm just saying I'm using the hypothetical that maybe, right?
For sure. If you are in a position where you're dealing with someone like this, whether it is a stripper or just somebody who just really likes to have comfortable fun with, and just right, like you know that's your person. You know that's what they do. So this shouldn't be a surprise to him. I'm pretty sure he was in his glee like tonight's gonna be on and popping.
And dog, not only is it not a surprise to you and her, but it's not a surprise to her friends.
None of the guests.
Not a surprise to. So when people from the outside who weren't invited to this wedding are chiming in, like, I'm sure their friends and family know who they are. And, like, I have friends who, like, if I saw certain things from their... Let me not say friends, because I don't really have many friends. I know some people who, like, if I saw some things happening in their situation, I'd be like...
Are we friends, Rich?
I'd be like, I don't know, bruh. You didn't text me. But if I saw this, I'd be like, that makes sense for them. You
Without a doubt.
So, like, something like this, I just feel like social media has made it so easy to
judge,
let the average person from their own window say, oh, what they're doing over there is wrong. And it has nothing,
And also, it's like there's no accountability assigned to whatever the comment is, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you're judging and you're hurting someone. It doesn't matter if you are literally just being an asshole to someone.
Yep.
Like, you aren't accountable for anything you do or say on social media, for the most part.
Right.
Maybe a little bit now because you have people losing their jobs for doing some things. But for the most part, people can have their opinions without any kind of pushback. And as a result, like, it creates this world where we have these very, very visible opinions of some shit that we weren't even fucking invited to.
It's like I can't remember if it was Mike Tyson said it or somebody said it.
It was Mike Tyson. It was Mike Tyson. I know exactly where you're going.
Social media has made a lot of people comfortable with saying stuff because they won't get punched in
their
the
face.
mouth. Right.
Yeah.
So,
like,
and honestly, like I said, like, if you all have an opinion on it one way or the next, I would like to hear it because, like I said, my opinion, I didn't have an opinion on it one way or the next. I was like, okay, this is what's cool for them.
Sure.
And the husband obviously was enjoying it.
Sure.
And he obviously knew who he was marrying. But I saw a lot of people just being so judgmental about them and the future of their... I'm like...
My opinion was very, very, very easy. Shit ain't my wedding, I don't give a fuck. Like,
and it's not for me. I'm not marrying someone who wants to do that at a wedding, but that's just not me. I'm
right.
way more... reserved.
Right, we don't do that behind the scenes.
So, now... Got one more.
So this is the last light one.
Right. We got one more topic to discuss before we wrap this up. And
trigger warning. Just letting you all know now. Like,
right.
this is a heavy topic. We know it's gonna be a heavy topic. So we're talking about domestic violence. If this is actually, we can't even call it domestic violence at this point.
Well, and the thing is, let me be like, I don't even want to dig too much into the actual topic because the bigger issues.
But the lead up though is still one of those things where you gotta let people know.
So what we're talking about? Okay, in Maryland, this weekend there was a shooting. The guy, I'm not going to say his name. I don't even remember his name, but he basically 40-something-year-old male went on Facebook Live after killing his ex-girlfriend.
Correct.
Went on Facebook Live from outside his ex-wife's house.
Sure.
To basically air out his issues, talk about his issues with his own depression, custody battles with his kid, with both of them, and then he goes and he says he's going to kill himself. He tells everyone on his Facebook Live that he just shot his ex-wife. He says, I'm not going to jail, so I'm going to end myself, but before I do that, I'm going to go to the source of all of this, who I guess he's blaming the ex-wife for what started him down his depression road.
Sure.
And you hear him, like, when he sees her, he's like, oh, there's my ex-wife. So, and later on the police found him dead, her dead, and the ex-girlfriend dead. Yeah. They had children together. The children were not hurt, apparently. They're saying on the reports that...
The kids were in the car or something like that.
The kids didn't see what happened or whatever.
Correct.
And I just think that this really, really touches on a lot of bigger issues.
Sure.
First of all, this was like, I was disturbed just when I watched the video.
Bro, we were originally not even going to cover this today.
One, I was disturbed at how calm he was after what he did. And he even said it like it felt like a dream. Like, you could tell, like, when he did it, it was like, oh.
No remorse.
Right.
None.
But also, like, on top of just not having remorse, feeling like, well, I'm already in this out-of-body experience time, so let me just...
keep it going.
Because I know that I'm not leaving here alive.
Sure.
I have no plans on leaving here alive, so I'm going to take out whoever else I feel like I needed to, right?
Sure.
And it just created this wave of this tragic situation because now these children,
bruh, like there's so many levels to it. So, first I'll talk mental health, right? But not in the sense of him pointing out his depression, right? Taking a step back, and I'm now talking about it's almost like a buzzword now. Like everyone wants to talk about mental health. Everybody wants to talk about depression in some capacity. Everybody's talking about trauma in other capacities.
Right.
And not to ever trivialize or downplay anyone's depression, trauma, mental health, whatever it is, right?
Right.
But it's almost like we're going from this place of really putting a spotlight on how important mental health is to, all right, now this is a scapegoat. Because the fact that that my man was coherent enough to say that she is the source of his depression, right, tells me my brother doesn't go to therapy. Never went to therapy. Because like any therapist is going to help you understand that like depression is not something that happens to you. It's something that's happening within you, and you have work to do. So, like, not even to go too far into that, but like the one thing I really, really disliked about watching this video was the fact that like he really wasn't even remotely accountable for what he was doing.
No.
And I'm not even gonna say that like I don't understand that he was going through something. We don't know how deep, but going through something with like his past partners. But like going through something should never equate to harming someone. And I'll even take it a step further before you jump in.
No. Finish.
It's, you talk about custody battle being the thing, but the actions that you're taking right now, right, no matter how justified you think they might be,
Are showing
totally
why.
go against the fact that these kids are important to you.
Right.
Because ultimately now it's not like you decided to off their moms and then take them on the run somewhere.
And we're not saying that would have been the right
At all.
Right.
But it's
you didn't even.
You're literally now putting your kids in the system, a system that is honestly not built to handle the cases they already have.
And you're just adding 2 children to it, or however many children.
Bruh.
You know, like I had a friend a while back, and we were having a lot of discussions about different things, right?
Sure.
And it makes me realize how scary it is out here sometimes for women. So she was in a situation where she was pregnant for someone that he did not want to be involved, right?
Okay.
It was like a accident.
Sure.
I don't use that term loosely because it's never an accident.
I'd rather say they were careless.
Oh, better term. They were careless, right? And then we were just talking about, what is she going to do, etc. And the topic of just like child support came in to the equation, and she literally said, "Bruh, I ain't trying to get killed over a little bit of money, right?" And again,
so she was just kind of flippantly saying it,
right? But being very serious, where like she had no intentions of even trying to, like, if he doesn't want the kid, then screw it. I'll just go ahead and do what I do and raise on my own, and I'm not gonna try to even take it to court. And I asked her, and she's like, "No, he's never given any indication of anything like that, of any violence." But it was just the thing in her mind.
She's been conditioned to believe that.
Right? If I go down this route, there's a chance that this man may flip out
and do some wild shit
and do something wild. And that was the part that struck me the most in that conversation. It was the only reason I'm bringing it up in this regard, because it's like the fact that that's even a thing that you got to think about, where you won't even go after what you're entitled to.
Sure.
Because I'll be honest, like, if someone is careless with you and you get pregnant, that's not solely on you.
Right.
You both did what you did.
Right.
So even if he does not want to be a part of that, and we talked about this last week, I'm of the mindset that no, you don't.
You shouldn't be doing anything if you don't want this.
You don't get to just say, "Well, I want you to have an abortion," and if she says, "I'm not having an abortion," no, you don't. you're not absolved from your responsibilities because you got here through your actions as well.
Right.
She didn't even want to go after that. And again, their situation got resolved differently in the end. But it was just that point of it where she even said that to me and was dead serious. Because I even dug a little deeper with her. And she was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I don't even want to bring on that possibility.
Yeah.
Even though he's never displayed any of that,
you
just don't know what someone may do. And I was like, damn, that's a real level of fear. And then when you hear these stories, and these stories are sensationalized because the reality is these are the minority.
Right.
Like, there's so many people who go through the system, they deal with whatever with their significant other, their exes, whatever, and they hate each other, they fight, they bicker, they're in court or whatever, but they deal with it normally. This is clearly a case where he is not normal.
Right.
Or was not normal.
For sure.
So these are the outlier cases, but the outliers are obviously the ones that make the news. But when they make the news, they scare everyone else because it's like, yo, to think that, especially like for the ex-wife. Now we know that they had when we read it, they had all of their custody battles and stuff from the past, but
and like there was some domestic violence pieces
from both sides,
well. Right.
But to think like she's just done with him now and chilling, and he supposedly has another girl.
Right.
So you're not even right now currently dealing with him as a significant other.
Right.
You're home minding your business. He has a girl. Whatever they get into causes him to kill her. And now he decides, you know what? Well, before I go, let me come get you. Like, that's some scary stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like there are a couple things. I think one thing that we have to point out is that we are coming from a place of privilege, and I only say that from the standpoint of.
I feel like privilege is the wrong word, but
I'll explain why I say privilege. Because I do mean privilege, but like we are in a place where if faced with the same circumstance, the same situation, right? Our upbringing, our nature to like, we can be pissed but know how to separate being pissed and like doing some illegal shit. Like there's a stark line between the two.
I gotta stop you for a second.
Okay.
I don't think that's privilege. I think you're equating privilege with normal human behavior. I don't think it's privilege that we would not act
so in
an abnormal fashion.
The reason why I say privilege, because I agree with you. I think honestly, both points, the point you're making, the point I'm making, aren't actually mutually exclusive. They can live together. Because unfortunately, granted, they might not all end this way, but there are a lot of situations that are still like completely in a place where the end result is different than even our situations. Right? And the reason why I say privilege is because I think a lot of this has to do with the way that people are raised. Right? Like when our value system is structured a certain way from young, we act a certain way. When you don't have the privilege of having that same value system, you are susceptible to, I'm not saying you definitely will, but you're susceptible to come on, bro. Like nature versus nurture is a thing.
Right. It is, but here's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
And I only disagree with the point of elevating it to the point of privilege, right?
Okay.
Because, when we talk about privilege, and I'm going to use the old cliche of like the white privilege, right?
Okay.
Like, we use that term because they don't have to deal with some of the things that we have to deal with daily. That's our daily struggle.
I don't think that's the only reason, but okay.
No. But listen to what I'm saying, right?
I'm with you.
Our daily struggle is simply because of our skin color, whereas they don't deal with those things simply because of theirs. So, like, the act of, like, just getting pulled over or interactions with police or things like that, like, it goes a certain way for them and a certain way for us a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, right?
Sure.
Privilege makes it a minority. That word brings it down to a small group of people, or it makes it where, okay, because a privilege is not something that's extended to everyone. A right is extended to everyone.
I see what you're saying.
So when you say privilege, you make it seem like because you didn't have a certain upbringing,
Yeah.
that level of behavior is the norm, and it's not, because even the
I
people
wouldn't say that. So I never said the norm.
No, I know you didn't.
Yeah.
I know you didn't. I'm just
And
saying
I'm not
the
suggesting it
connotation.
either. Right.
But I'm saying the connotation that comes with the word.
Right.
Because the reality is, let's say you didn't have all the right values from how you were. I know a lot of people who were raised very crazy.
Right.
And still
wouldn't do this.
That is,
sure.
I think the problem is that level of behavior is the extreme on the other side of things.
Sure.
So which is why I don't like using the term privilege to describe normal human behavior. Because most of us, even if you weren't raised a certain way, you still.
I'm with you. Like, I mean, I think ultimately it ends up being somewhat of semantics, because when it really comes down to it, it's still a point that like
most of us ain't doing that.
And that's the bigger point.
No,
right?
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
And I think it's just it's really unfortunate that that's even a thing, right?
Right.
But then the other part is kind of what I was talking about before, like the actual mental health piece, right? Which I think aligns with this perfectly. Like, that's the part where, like, I need all of us to go and talk to somebody. And I'm not saying they got to go talk to a therapist, but talk to somebody at some point, because dealing with whatever issues you're dealing with, whatever traumas you're dealing with, all the things that we all deal with individually, and it doesn't matter what walk of life you live in, because I was literally talking to my therapist about this yesterday. Like, you can be the most affluent person in the world, and we look at them like you shouldn't have any problems because you are blown out of control, right?
It's not about
they
money.
Have issues that we don't have, right? Because their issues aren't about money.
Completely different.
Our issues might be about money because, like, I can't afford this, whatever. So, like, there's no trivializing. I think all of us need an outlet to be able to deal with our issues so that these type things don't happen. And to your point, yes, this is an outlier. But, like, before the outlier, again, there's still some situations that are very unhealthy that may not result in violence, but they're still very unhealthy, where you have two co-parents, let's call them that, right? Who aren't child-centered. So, yes, ain't nobody dead. But, like, this parent's out here bitter as hell.
Right.
This parent out here bitter as hell, and the child is still getting the worst end of the stick because it's a power struggle between two adults.
And you know what? Like, even with that, I agree with you. I think part of the problem is a lot of people don't understand that they may need to talk to somebody. So I like how we say we should go talk to someone. Like, a lot of people, when you're that far gone, probably don't even think about it. Like, maybe I need to seek some help, right?
Right. And I'll even add to that. So, and keep that point though.
Okay.
I'll even add to that. Sometimes people don't think that they don't need to talk to anybody because they feel like they have it all figured out already.
Right. Exactly.
Which is a whole different issue. But anyway, go ahead.
So when you look at how many, because they detailed that there was a lot of interaction.
I read
with I think at some point, somewhere in the system, and maybe it's a breakdown in the system, maybe it's not. I don't want to blame the system because I don't know. I know a lot of the things were dropped, but I think there does need to be a certain level of, it's like with anything. When you realize that there is a disconnect, that some things slip through the cracks, you may need to tighten it up.
Sure.
So now when you have certain number of cases come before you, maybe you do need some additional visits from social workers, from health, from maybe there needs to be some more intervention on your part, because you know what? Hey, these cases were dropped, but there were just so many of them.
Right.
We need
There's
to pay
something under this.
Right. We need to pay more attention to this family. And I know it's difficult because you have a system that is understaffed, that is underfunded, that doesn't have the resources to always deal with all of these things.
And then you have key players who will put on a face to avoid having to deal with the system anyway.
So I'm not saying that I don't have the solution, but I'm just like, when these things happen, it almost feels like, damn, what could have been done to have caught this before it got to this point? Because, again, every time this happens, they pull up the rap sheets and they pull up all of the court cases and all this stuff.
You start getting context.
Right. And then you're looking at it like, well, if you had all of this.
Like, why didn't you do something?
Why was no one able to catch this before it ended up this bad?
Right.
And you realize that, but these things aren't necessarily all connected immediately. And maybe it just needs to be that the system needs to find a better way to start connecting all of these, like, whoa.
Right.
this family may need. But
it's difficult. It's difficult. Like as somebody who deals with a lot of data in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's just really difficult to start bringing these things together.
And I understand. Like I'm speaking from a place of being a Monday morning quarterback right now, because I'm just looking at what happened, and then looking at
wishing
the news
that
report,
we could do something to do better,
and wishing we could have caught this and caught him and say, whoa. Because
something.
Right. Like, hang on, let's talk to you a little bit more. Right. And maybe we could have identified that, you know what, he may have some tendencies, or he may have maybe someone could have talked to him and realized he may be on the edge of doing something crazy. We may need to intervene a little bit more. But unfortunately, that was not the case. I genuinely feel for the family now that has to deal with this, the remaining family that now has to deal with this. The families of the young women, whoever has to take care of these kids, like it's.
I hope they have family that can take care of the kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, like, to me, the unfortunate part is, like, I hope the kids don't have to end up in the system. I hope that they can go to a family member.
Right.
Who has the means to take care of. Right. Like, it's just. Because,
you know, that's the other unfortunate part. Like, I may not be in a position to take in 2 children.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? I feel bad that my nieces and nephews or my young cousins or whatever my relation is, but I'm like, yo, I'm effed up right now in this little 1-bedroom apartment. I can't take 2 kids and then have to deal with.
Add another layer. What happens if it's the mother's sides of the family now fighting with the father's side of the family, and like they're like, there's no way we want.
Nah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
honestly, let me say something. And this is just me. This is just my thing. Like, if I'm on the father side of the family,
take the kids.
Right. Because I'm not even knowing that
I'm fighting for this.
Knowing that my person put y'all through this. Matter of fact, how can I help you?
I was about to say, like, the worst that you'll get is, can I see the kids sometimes?
Can I see them, and how can I help you? Like,
that's it.
Like, do you need a couple dollars? Like, I don't got much, but if it's like some shoes need to be bought, like, I'm gonna help, because honestly, I'm going right now. I'm going to fully accept that. Look, my relative is the reason we here.
Fucking psychotic.
So I'm not even trying. I don't even want the kids. I'm like, how can I help y'all out? So, but
yeah.
All right.
Let's end on a light note, though.
I mean, all right. So, as we told y'all, it's our last episode for the year. Correct. Next year, we got the holidays coming up. We want to make sure everybody has a good, happy, safe holiday season.
For sure.
Dre, what was because we're doing our year wrap up.
Sure.
What was your craziest thing that happened of the year? Whether it happened to you, a story in the news, craziest thing of the year that you could think of.
Craziest thing of the year.
Or most interesting or most memorable, whatever you want to go with of this year. Yeah,
so I got 2. Okay. I'm going to just go with 2. And I'm going to go with things that are about me, because it's a lot easier for me to do that. So the first was, you know, I never thought that I could be in shape and then suffer from an injury, like, where then I have to get like injections in my pelvic area, right?
It's getting old, bro.
Like I'm literally rethinking the entire like extracurriculair.
Let me tell you something. You're not even where I'm at yet, dog. It gets worse.
Oh, I know, and I keep on being told it gets worse.
It don't get
And the wildest part is, like, this was the healthiest I've ever been. Like, when I say, like, COVID was that time of year for me where
it might have been the fittest.
Sorry, fittest.
Because I realized that I learned that those are definitely.
But again, like, I was actually the most active I've ever been. I was running 6 days a week, bro.
I remember you were telling me that craziness.
Like, and I'm not talking about no mile, like 3.5 miles every day, 1 day of rest.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so to get injured in a soccer game, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, so that's one. The other is, bro, like, perspective is everything, right? So, real quick story. I got a bonus from work. Thank God, right? Now, it's funny.
Hang on, wait. Did we get drinks when this happened? I don't remember.
And I'm going to tell you why.
No, we going to revisit. Because there was no extra drinks or nothing. But
I'm going to tell you why you didn't get drinks. Because I got this bonus from work, And it's funny that, like, you know, when I got it, my mindset was already on, all right, so I'm taking this money and I'm going to put some toward these bills.
Right.
I'm going to put some toward investing, and I'll play with a little bit here and there, right? And then literally
something happened.
Almost every week since I found out I was getting, not even when I got it, when I found out I was getting the bonus.
Something happened.
There's been issues financially that I've had to kick out, to the point where actually I've spent more
than the bonus
itself.
Yeah.
And, you know, on one hand, I was like, you know, this is some bullshit. Like, what the fuck?
But on the other hand, that bonus came in.
So not only did the bonus come in
when you needed it.
Not only did the bonus come in, so like, yeah, so on one hand, it was definitely like the initial was, at least I have some money that I can use toward these things, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be way worse if I had to pay for these things just without the bonus, right?
Right.
On the other hand, I was like, yo, this is a moment where if I take a step back and actually understand that there's a lesson here. I don't completely know what the lesson is, but I can tell you enough that there are times where we get really comfortable, where we think shit's gonna go a certain way, and we just like start to coast, and then something is thrown our way that'll either make us or break us. An older version of me would have done something that probably would have eased me up financially on the like front end, but it would have hurt me in the long run.
Yeah.
And like, I'm now on some, you know what? I'm gonna deal with the struggle right now because I'm on a path to actually be completely debt free within the next couple months.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hurt for now and struggle and not take out like a loan or anything like that
right. Not incur no new debt.
To be comfortable now, right? Because I'm gonna be comfortable later on. So those are my two right there. What about you?
The craziest thing to me that happened for 2021 didn't happen to me.
You put my drink down because I know you're going to say some wild shit.
Nah, it's not even wild, dog. It didn't happen to me, dog.
Okay.
White people stormed the Capitol, dog. I got to watch that, son.
That was the beginning of the year,
that
too.
Was how the year. Look, I sat back and thought about it.
Sure.
And as much as we talk about how 2021 flew by, and it did, in one sense.
Sure.
But then when you think about it, the fact that January 6th feels like 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
Makes me remember, like, that also only happened this year.
Yes.
Like Gorilla Glue Girl only happened this year.
Yeah.
So 2021 has been a long and very short year all at the same time. And to me, that was the craziest thing because it didn't happen directly to me.
Sure.
But I actually
got to witness it.
Watched that unfold in real time.
Right.
And was just flabbergasted by the fact that this was real. This was happening.
So I love that you brought that up because did you see that some leaked texts came out this week?
Mm-mm.
So some leaked texts came out this week between Don Jr. and a couple of people from, I think, Fox News as well, where they were trying to convince, at the time, POTUS, so 45, to like tell them to stop. Like, don't do it. Like, step back. But then there was also some back channeling on some, but make sure that when you report it, you don't report it that way. Kind of like it was this whole wild thing. So between that and then also I don't know if you also saw that like Netanyahu out in what's that, Israel?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Had actually congratulated Biden. And Trump, of course, he can't allow anybody to be congratulated and try to shit on him. And then I can't remember who it was, but somebody else was like, "You're a waste of a public figure if like you can't just shut up and just sit down."
Bruh, let me tell you something. When Colin Powell passed, and he couldn't even just say, because he couldn't just say nothing. Right. He had to take a shot at him. It just reminded me.
Like, that's the part, like, a dead guy.
Right. It reminded me, but he took a shot at McCain. Like, it reminded me just how shitty a person he is. And I'm glad we don't have to deal with him. And everyone who, and anyone who, like, thinks, like, we would have been better off if he was still here.
100%. Like, but, like, don't get it twisted. He's going to run again.
No, I know he's going to run again. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried. I'm not saying I'm not worried. I don't have a question in my mind that he's going to run again. I know he's going to run again.
But we could very easily run into
We could.
dealing with him again.
And we would if people continue to be ignorant. No, but
That is the way of the world.
Right. Because what we have right
Young
now.
niggas ignorant.
Because what we have right
Not
now
y'all,
is a lot
but
of
them.
yeah. We got a lot of people who aren't actually paying attention to what's happening.
Sure.
So they're actually blaming Biden for a lot of what is going on when.
But that always happens though.
Right, exactly. But
Right.
it always happens when someone's in power because
Sure.
it's what comes with power.
Right.
Is-
It's the crash of the wave.
Right. It's whatever goes
Right.
on is also on you. So if there's
Right.
good, you get to claim credit.
Right.
If there's bad, you have to own responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see how things unfold.
Yeah.
We ain't diving into politics till we come back.
Yeah.
We'll see how next year goes.
But anyway,
Guys,
this has been the Guys Unpacked. This is Dre.
this is Rich. We want to thank you guys for rocking with us. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Remember, you can catch the audio available on Anchor, Spotify Podcast, Google Podcast, and all of your podcast sites. Video available on YouTube. And in the 2022, we will be back with all new episodes for you guys. First week out the gate. If you have anything that you want us to discuss, feel free to drop us a line, slide in the DMs, let us know what you want to hear from us. And with that being said,
Happy holidays.
and we're out.
If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out all our full episodes on YouTube at Guys Unpacked.
Also available anywhere you get your podcast, and follow us on all social media at Guys Unpacked.